from AFarCryAway, who makes great video content, by the way. Thank you, FarCry.
Yes! Yes!
What's up, everybody? My name is AFarCryAway, and today's video is pretty awesome. I was watching the Insurgency Sandstorm live stream where they were showing off all of the parts of the new map, the Powerplant Map. It looks great, and I've got so many notes on it. Like, there's so much to talk about. Also, we've gotten a lot of our community questions answered during this stream, stuff regarding the death cam and what it's all about. All of that stuff will be coming up. So, basically, to start off this stream was with Mikey, as well as Ewan, I believe is his name. I might be mispronouncing it, who was the lead level designer, also, I believe. Could be misremembering things here, but I do try to keep most of this written down. So the spring update is pretty much the focus of this whole stream. They are targeting March for this update release, but that is not going to be a guarantee. They're also planning on possibly doing a CTE test, but they're not entirely sure of when that will be taking place. As you guys know, if you own Insurgency, you actually have access to the CTE, so look forward to testing. They have been looking into the Insurgents' fire support options and maybe buffing them, so the chemical and smoke mortar clouds will now be doubled in length, and by the way, this is all subject to change, so they might still be messing around with this. The explosive mortars have been increased to 15 shells, and that kind of extends the length of time that the area denial effect can be in play. The rocket barrages will be smaller, and they'll strike over time with 6 barrages of 3 missiles. The strikes will come in faster than the mortars though, so it's still area denial, but it's going to have a little bit of a different play to it. So night maps were brought up by the community on the stream. The night maps are not going to be a mode, but all of the currently existing maps will be getting a night map version. This takes time though, as they all need separate passes. They are primarily for co-op, but they will be testing limited time PvP modes on the night maps just to see how the community responds to it. They're playing around with the infrared lasers, NVGs, and flashlights just to kind of see how night maps will be working out with those in the future, so they're kind of testing that right now. For performance reasons, there are no plans to allow for any custom loadouts with camo appropriate for different environments on the maps, as it would have to load in things. I believe I and many other people are asking this question, and as it stands right now, there are no plans for it, but you never know. Maybe in the future they can look into this some more. I was thinking it would be cool to have loadouts where you could just press a button and be like, hey, this is a desert map, give me my desert BDU, or this is a jungle map, give me my, jungle BDU or whatever. So I think that would be really cool, but I understand if there are performance issues why they might not be able to do that. And visibility in the game isn't as bad anymore with a lot of the recent lighting fixes that they've been doing. So hopefully it won't be as detrimental to not have the right type of camo. Again, I hope they look into this in the future to see if it's possible, but it's not a priority right now. The toggleable optics are still in the works, still early development on those, but they are being worked on, which is good. Only mutators and map mods will be working with the first mod update in spring, but the custom sound and weapon models will have to be looked into for future updates. So pretty much like I just said, only the mutators and maps are going to be up for modding in the near future. And again, most of the really, really cool mods to me are things that involve weapon models and sounds and stuff like that. However, they did go into a lot of detail on the possibilities given to the modders with the mod tools here for mapping, and it's incredible. You get access to even post-processing effects, you get access to all of the assets in the game. You might even be able to bring in custom assets too. So there is a lot of possibility and potential here, as well as with the map and game mode mutations, as in people might actually be able to make the survival game mode that everyone loves so much and bring it into this game. So Mikey went into detail on the death cam. Now, he wanted to make sure that people understood what this is, so I really want to make sure I get this right in my video. If I don't, let me know, but I'm pretty sure this is how he explained it. So the death cam works like this. If you die, the camera will then turn towards the enemy, but it will not show their weapons or zoom in on them. It'll only be directional, and it is disabled in competitive modes, and it can be toggled in custom servers. So if you do not want to play with that enabled, you can make a server where that is not enabled. It will be an option. And that's really good news, but it also is nice for console players to have a way to kind of have an idea of where they're being shot from, because it can be really hard to spot people when you're sitting back on your couch on a PS4 or Xbox One. By the way, should mention, August 25th, 2020, Xbox One players, PS4 players, welcome to the community. That's all I gotta say. Pretty hyped for that. They didn't go into any specifics on the frame rate or any of that kind of stuff yet, so keep your ears to the ground and maybe ask around about that. But as far as we know, all we do know is that that is the console release date, so just, get hyped. New World Interactive are working on 3 official new maps, and they are in current development, not including Powerplant, which is currently being shown off. But they are considering community-made maps to be made into official maps, so if you're a mod maker, that is pretty good incentive to get cracking on that. Oh, another thing I needed to include for the console guys is that all of the current content in the PC version of the game will be going to the console. Okay guys, let's go ahead and move on to Powerplant, that damn fine looking map. Get it? Cause the damn, never mind. Listen, this map is going to be very different than most Insurgency Sandstorm maps. So lighting was a pretty major focus, and I will say major focus a lot because there are a lot of differences in this map. So lighting was a focus to make the players more visible in the darkness. The initial player tests revealed that the darkness on this map was a little bit too much, so they did a lot of lighting passes and brightened it up in some spots. And it still is a darker kind of map on the indoor sections, but you can definitely tell that it's going to be easy to make out targets. Powerplant actually started off as a side project map, and it kind of evolved from being a desert map originally when blocked out. They wanted a green map with a new art direction, and Farmhouse was their inspiration to get a more green setting. They wanted it to be placed in northern Iraq or a Chernobyl setting. Mikey compares it to Stalker with the industrial kind of look to it, and I can definitely see that. The map will have multiple hot zones where it will increase in difficulty as you proceed towards the final objective. The map has a structure where as you push in closer to the dam, the sight lines get narrower and things get more complicated. Did I say narrower? I meant wider and more open. They wanted the indoor environments to be believable and look as though they were lived in, and for gameplay reasons they had to move the chairs and the objects towards the walls as to not obstruct player movement, but if you take a look at the stream, a lot of the indoor environments actually look quite lived in and believable. There are destroyed walls and ceilings littered throughout the map. There's rebar poking through the walls and the cement. And there are fire barrels that are used as light sources to kind of light up areas of the map for players to pay attention to. And some of these walls were even knocked out as to point you in the directions of things like staircases that you can traverse up. So vertical gameplay is definitely a focus on this map. There are many roads with opposing houses, and each of these houses has multiple stories of which people can fight across the street from. There are flanks all over the place too, and so they definitely wanted to make sure that there are always options for flanking and engaging. And honestly, this does remind me a lot of a Rising Storm 2 Vietnam map with its bridges and the foliage everywhere, which is a good thing. So the B objective is the center objective. It's a hydroelectric plant. It's overgrown with grass, has turbines, it's very abandoned, and lights are mostly off, but there are some backup lights and skylights in there. The movie The Rock's shower scene is what actually inspired the interior design of the site, as securing it, you're kind of in a boxed environment, overhanging, with ledges inside, so as soon as you walk in, it's kind of like a kill room, but there is cover on sides that kind of help you push into the objective in the interior. And the level designer did point out that smoke will be very useful on this map, so do not forget to pack it. And Mikey even made sure to point out that big building CQB is what Powerplant is, so if you're interested in CQB in this game, you're definitely going to be getting a good helping of that with Powerplant. Overall, it's a smaller scale map with shorter lines of sight, less traversal time between objectives, but that means that the fun factor is improved on this map with lots of engagements. The C objective is a lot more opened up, it's brighter, and it still has a lot of buildings that are destroyed in it. There's a sewer to actually sneak around the road on the side of the C objective that will help the security push across the street, but it has very limited cover. Now moving on to the D site. The D site is absolutely stunning. It's one of the better looking objectives on the map, and the natural lighting is great. The level designer even said that this is actually one of the best performing maps in terms of optimization, with all of their collected knowledge on optimizing maps from all of the previous maps in the game. Also, just wanted to say, sorry if these notes are sounding very sporadic. It's because I was writing things as I went, and my tabbing skills are terrible, and there's notes everywhere, so if things are sounding a little bit jumbly at the moment, that's why. I apologize. So, people will hide in the truck on the D site. Pre-nading is recommended by Mikey, even against friendlies using the spot, so just keep that in mind. If you see the truck at D, people might be in that. Now, past D is a very, very hard site to progress to. E. Smokes are definitely going to be suggested if you want to take the main road approach. The E site is at the bottom of the dam, and it's, again, extremely open. So a couple of my final notes here say that they really wanted the community members to go wild with the props from this map to create their own maps. And also, if you see the ladder that's cut, originally there were plans for people to be able to use ladders in Sandstorm, but they actually cut it for animation and resource limits and issues, which kind of also they had issues with it breaking level design at points. So that's sadly one of those cut features that I can kind of understand why they had to cut it. But yeah, that was a whole lot of information to try to convey in a very short amount of time. I'll try to leave a link to the VOD of the stream below so you guys can watch the whole thing for yourself. There's a lot of really good information in this, and it really did make me happy to be taking a look into Sandstorm with all of my videos and updates and stuff. I really am happy and optimistic about the future for the game, especially with the console release. If this game does blow up at all on the consoles, I think that just is going to be a very good thing, even for us PC players, as I don't believe they're going to even split the content. All of the maps and modes should be the same on both systems. There might be a delay. No one said anything. This is just purely my own speculation. But there could be a delay between content releasing on the PC to the consoles just due for, testing purposes, as the CTE is on the PC. So if you want early access to content, my best recommendation is pick it up on the computer, PC. But if you can't, or you can't afford like a high-end gaming computer or anything, definitely go with the console release. It's still the same game. I'm sure it'll still be just as fun. And really, guys, if you're on a console, get Sandstorm. It's a good time. And co-op PvP, in my opinion, it's one of the better tactical shooters on the market right now. Try it out. Alright guys, that is all for this here video. If you did enjoy it, and all that good stuff, just feel free to leave it a like, as that makes me the happy boy. Also, feel free to subscribe, because then you'll get updates on all of the Sandstorm news that I can convey to you appropriately in a video of a timely manner. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Thank you guys for watching this. Appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys next time, and stay frosty.